Gaffer, it's been a busy day media-wise, and obviously without the Premier League and Championship, we are the highest-ranked side in action this weekend, and I guess it's a great opportunity for your lads to go out there and show why.
Yeah, of course, it's listen, we'd rather be top of the league than anywhere else, and we're going to a very difficult place to get 3 points. Good manager, experienced manager, will be tactically astute, will have them organised. Recipe works because he's also got good players. Good support base at Southend. They get right behind the team. It's an intimidating stadium. So all those factors make it tough for us to go and get 3 points. Of the top group, we have the hardest weekend in terms of on paper. Games are never won on paper, but it's a tough venue. But we'll go there and we'll set up a team to be offensive and win the game.
You wanted on Tuesday night to be going back onto the coach after the game and having a real discussion with Paul Rayner, your assistant, about players that put their hands in the air in terms of getting themselves ready for selection for this weekend. Did you feel that you had a real detailed discussion on the bus home on Tuesday?
Well, it's a good job I didn't go on the bus at half time because I was trying to find it and go home. No, I think we know what we got at MK Dons. We were 3-0 down at half time. We didn't play well, but they make 3 chances. We make 5, they score 3, we score 0. But in the second half, the boys done great. The one thing about this group is it's full of character. It's a group that hates losing, that wants to win, and that was very evident in the second half. And what the second half performances have done is they've brought 3 or 4 of the lads into contention for Southend. Up until the Doncaster game, our side was on the front foot, very passionate, scoring goals, defending properly, and it was unbroken in every department. I think we know against Doncaster it was broken in several departments. And if something's broken, what do? You fix it.
Strikers ultimately get judged for goals, but actually Ivan Toney's performance was outstanding, wasn't it? He held the ball up, brought others into play, got himself into positions. Sometimes it's very hard to judge a striker overall because ultimately everyone looks at goals, don't they?
You know, that young man was beating himself up on Tuesday evening, half-time and full-time, because they're bread and butter chances to Ivan Toney. But he had one of those games, I think if he'd have been shooting tonight, it'd still be missing. It'd be ricocheting off the goalkeeper or something, it wouldn't be getting the net from. But that's not the Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney's a fantastic goal scorer. He leads the line really, really well. It's really interesting. There's not many times you see somebody miss 3 or 4 or 5 chances, whatever it is, and the opposition manager singles him out and says how good he was. And Ivan led the line primarily on his own for long spells with some real pride, some real purpose, some real power. He'll be a top player over the course of the season, and he's competing with 2 excellent strikers to get in there and get a starting shot.
And Jamie Walker's probably got your head aching more than most in terms of his performance. In your mind, I mean, he sort of played as a sort of 10, sort of off the strike. Is that where you see him, or can he do so much more than that?
Well, he does that very effective, of course, but I said when we signed him, he could play anywhere across a 4 in midfield, anywhere in a 5 in midfield. He can play wing back on either side, he can play as a holder, he can play as a number 10, he can play as a striker. So he's a very gifted footballer, and he has been since his very early days of promise at Harton and Lothian. So we're pleased that we got him onto the pitch. He got 45 minutes. He's feeling the benefit of that in training today, where he was very good again. And we'll see what happens when we go to Southend.
And in terms of Southend, you mentioned the stadium is quite close, compact, creates a good atmosphere. I know they're reported to have many players out on the sidelines at this moment in time, but it's a tough place to go.
Listen, I'm far too experienced to be reading media comments about who's injured and who's not. When the team sheet comes in, we'll know who we're going to place, who we're going to play. I think the days of second guessing managers when there's bigger squads in football these days is very, very difficult. Imagine wanting to play Manchester City and going and watching them rehearsing for a cup tie, and you face a different 11, and it's the same all round football. So we're not going to listen who's available, who's not. We know the Southend United squad because it's our job to do it. Our players will be aware of that squad, and when we get Chris Pill's team sheet, we'll know exactly who we're playing. But I'll tell you who we'll be playing. A team that's, as I've already said, well organised, well disciplined, well drilled, playing for a good manager, with a game plan, with a B plan if that's not working. So our test is a tough one. A venue I love to take a team to. I've been there neutrally many times myself, going to watch football. It's a real good place to go and watch football.
In terms of who's annoying Daniel Sim in the treatment table at the moment, it's just Callum Cook from the challenge on Tuesday.
Yeah, listen, I've documented my thoughts. It's a red card if the referee sees it properly. I don't think the kid's malicious in his challenge, but it's a scissor kick. These are outlawed these days. They're reds. It didn't happen. He was behind a rock of players. The referee. I accept his explanation. Brett is an honest guy. So we got on with that. But Cook will be out maybe another week, but he should be back available for Saturday week.
And somebody available next to you in the dugout is Paul Rayner. He's obviously served his little touchline ban, and it's good to have him back, I'm sure. I'd imagine that Mark Tyler's not as frequent with his language as Paul, perhaps.
Well, it's going to be a little bit noisier, as it always is when Paul's around. Listen, he's a fantastic coach. Wears his heart on his sleeve. He's very passionate. Away from that, he's the nicest man in the world that anyone could have wished to meet. I want him, his passion to be the same. Obviously, we want it controlled a little bit more, and if we can control that passion and channel it properly to be successful here at Posh, that's what we want.